What is going on, everybody? We are back live this time with an episode of the ABJ Podcast. This one here will be in collaboration, if you've seen on the front, with One Division Pro. They have an upcoming show in February, I believe. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And I have one of their talent coming on today. So that's going to be super exciting. Before we get into that and I introduce my guest, let's get some of the business out of the way. If you guys are watching for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow more than you know. We are live currently on my channel as well as the High Tension Wrestling Network channel. So they're on their way to getting monetization goals. Lots of great stuff there. Also, check out Ruta Entertainment. If you're like me and you're not good enough to be a professional wrestler, you're not athletic, you're kind of chubby, but you enjoy the sport, you can also be a champion yourself with Ruta custom titles. If you can dream it, he can make it. From customs from the TV, he can make wrestling promotion belts. I have taken this belt to many places, and it's nicer than some of the wrestling companies I go to. So it's top quality. They have the zinc, any millimeter you want. They have the brass belts, which are great for kids. Hit up Ruta Entertainment for all your one-stop shop needs for title belts. Also links below if you want to support myself, my guest, and One Division Pro Wrestling. All their links will be below. You can check out merch pages for myself. Follow me on all social media. We have some limited edition merch that'll only be around once a month. So once it's gone, it's gone. Lots of new content always popping up. And make sure on the very bottom of the YouTube page, I have a section that you can follow all the channels that I'm affiliated with or make content on, and you can follow those as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest in and let's have some fun. What's going on, guy?
Thank you. How's it going?
I'm doing great. So we're currently just for audio listeners, if you're listening and you hear slamming and banging, everybody is safe over there for the most part. He is filming from a wrestling school, so people are getting that work in behind him.
Hard work. So, no days off.
So tell everybody, who are you and what do you do?
My name is DANTE FARMITO, and I wrestle. First things first, I know you have to shout out to your sponsors, but you can be a wrestler. There's not a single thing as none of us being.
Oh, I can't. I physically cannot be a wrestler.
Well, that's different, but
yeah,
if you can physically go to a gym, you can do it. You got to believe in yourself. But
yeah, no,
that's what I do.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, a little bit of delay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was diagnosed very young with a joint disorder. I played sports longer than I probably should have, destroyed my body. So professional wrestling is not going to be a thing for me. But that's why I got this golden voice, so I can go up and talk and do commentary and interviews with amazing talent like yourself.
We appreciate your voice.
Thank you. So tell us more about One Division Pro. How did you find this company? How did you get in contact with them? How did you start working with them?
I found out about the company because there was a few sports artists on the roster that I would follow prior to even starting wrestling. Like the current world champion Jared Diaz, he's someone that but even before I got into indie wrestling, I would just see him on my social media, and I thought, oh, he looks pretty cool. And then when I get into wrestling, I see online there's this company. He's one of the poster child. There's this other guy, Hyena Hex. I thought he looks pretty cool, and that's where the best talent is. And of course, I'm striving to be the best. So I thought it was a no-brainer to sign up for it.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate to get selected.
Yeah. So where are they based out of? Where are their shows? Where can people find them?
Well, the headquarters is based in Jamaica, Queens, but as far as the shows, they like to travel everywhere, whether it's New York, Massachusetts, England.
Wow.
Everywhere.
So I had friends growing up, and they were from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and they would always tell me about, oh, you should come, but then tell me how terrifying all their stories were. And I was like, I'm good. But they always talk about going to the Jamaica Avenue. I guess a big shopping area. Yeah. I've heard about it, just never been there.
You're not scared because we're there. We make it scary. We apologize for that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're telling people to come visit your neighborhood, you shouldn't be all give them the worst stories first. You know what I mean? Everyone does that. They always try to make
them in first to let them have their own.
Yeah. Yeah. Your selling point. Don't want to be like, yo, it's beautiful, but you might get stabbed. You know. But
you might not.
Yeah, it all depends the attitude you bring. So I've actually worked a few places before with some of your talent. Hyena Hex, Casey Lycan, our two guys are going to be on this card coming up for the show reunion. I have crossed paths with both of them. Yeah, not a fan of those guys.
They got to share the same show with me, so I feel bad for them.
You're gonna steal the show. So what style wrestler are you? If people never seen you perform, what do you bring to the table?
I actually like to leave that question as a question because there's no fun if you can figure it out. Like when you want to like to see unorthodox, I don't know, it's just like a beautiful disaster. It's like all over the place, but it all like leads into like this beautiful thing.
Okay.
But fast pacing, I can slow it down, hard hitting. I can do lucha, I can do technical. I like to be a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. So you're actually going for the 1DP Imperial Championship against Brian Black. What can you tell us about your upcoming match with him and how you feel about entering that matchup?
I feel like it was a matter of time to push the company for the future. He's like what, 39, 40. His birthday just passed recently, and he's not putting up results like they need him to, and that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna do what I need.
So you're the young buck trying to take down the old man, making sure he's not around, right?
Yeah. No, but I don't like to try. To try is to fail. I am going to do what I set out to do.
Okay. What is the history of the 1DP Championship? Is that more of like an upcoming title? Is that the World Championship? What are we talking about here?
It's not the World Championship, but it will be the moment I win it because like I'm bigger than the World Championship. It has an interesting lineage, but to me, it's more so like what comes with because in one division pro, there's only like 2 titles to chase after, but you have like such a huge roster of talented sports fighters. So it's like it's beautiful to be able to like take that crown, and everyone has no choice but to look at you, and everyone has to work that much harder to even out of it because there's only those 2 titles available.
Okay, awesome. Is this the first time in your career competing for a championship, or possibly after this weekend, winning one?
For 1DP, this is my first championship match, but in my career, no, not at all.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's kind of dive into your career and learn more about you, and we'll talk more about your matchup here in a little bit. But when did you fall in love with the world of professional wrestling?
November 24, 1998. The day I was born.
Has it down. What's your earliest memory of consuming professional wrestling?
I don't even know. For some reason, it's like this vivid memory of Rhino on SmackDown.
Okay.
I just like remember seeing like the big arms, the sweaty hair, and I'm just like, yo, he looks cool. And then I saw Kane, and like Kane was like the person. I was like, this is larger than life, as wrestling should be. And it was able to help me like forget about the world around me. And I was just like encaptured by what I was seeing on the TV.
Okay. So growing up as what kind of kid were you when it came to like school, sports? Like where did you fall into? What was your categories? How were you in those early developmental stages?
I was always in suspension, so it's pretty ironic that I ended up doing this as a career. I was always fighting in school because I just felt like I couldn't get along with anyone, and there weren't. I don't know. It was just a weird. But when I got to high school, I was a very intelligent kid. I can do good, like academically, but I was just too lazy to like, because my heart was never really in it. And I guess like even as an adult, I'm still like, if I'm not like truly into something 100%, then I just don't have the interest to do it.
That makes sense. I'm very similar. If it ain't something I'm with, I'm not gonna give it my all. But the things I give my all at, you go hard in the paint for. Absolutely.
That's why we're having this conversation. Exactly.
Yeah. And you're hopefully winning some gold if your opponent's listening. Good luck to you as well. Yeah. I try to stay neutral. You know what I mean? Who knows? That's a future guest. No disrespect.
It's okay. It's okay. You can be neutral, but after the 23rd, you can let them know who your favorite is.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, hey, remember when the champ was on my podcast? I had it from the beginning.
Exactly.
When did you decide to pursue this industry, and how did you get started? So for people who are possibly watching this, they're wrestling fans, they like, what was your journey of getting into it, or some things that you would maybe people can take from that story of finding your own school?
Well, how I pursued it, I always wanted to pursue it my whole life. But like, I'm born and raised. Well, I was born in Brooklyn, but I was raised in the Bronx. And like coming up in places like that, like wrestling is something that only exists on TV. I didn't think like it was possible. But then like a couple of years ago, like about 2023, I was just going through like a lot of things in life. And I remember like I had this job and I was upstate New York. And I sat down one day and then like I got like really emotional. I started crying. And then I sat down and I felt a pole behind me. And I look up, it was a dead end pole. And I was like, this is insane. I feel like this is a sign from the universe to tell me I'm not meant to be here right now. So then I go back home that same week. I just keep talking like, damn, I want to wrestle. And then my brother tells me, he's like, there's this gym in the Bronx they're having a show. You should go check it out. And I checked it out. And I joined the same day that I came to check it out. Like, it wasn't even like something I had to think about. I didn't know where I was going to get the money for it to keep paying it continuously. I managed to find it, but I just knew, like, if the one opportunity to get might not ever come again, so I had to take it.
Yeah. Now, growing up in neighborhoods or in the city, when it's very, very easy to get caught up in everything else, do you think pro wrestling kind of maybe got you away from other things and put you in a different culture and a different light that maybe kept you away from some of the things that the big city can bring?
Oh yeah, 100%. Ironically, I feel like I'm a product of my environment, but not so I become like the people around me. I look at the people around me and I'm like, that's not who I want to be. And then I look at television and I put on wrestling and you see they're like superheroes, but in real life, and not even just a superhero aspect, just like, I don't know, they're larger than life. Like people like CM Punk, that's my favorite wrestler of all time. It's just the way he's able to like stand in a room full of thousands of people and like, you listen to him, like when he talks, like people are silent, eyes are on him, and it was just things like that. I'm like, I want to be able to do stuff like that too, and I always had the mindset, why can't I do it?
Yeah, yeah. So you always had that vision of being an entertainer and captivating a crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that. So the character of Dante, how did it come about? Where did you pull information? What is it? Is it how did you come up with the name, the look, the gimmick? I see in the photo here you got some cool little face paint. I was like, yo, who the Black Boogeyman's coming on the podcast? I'm excited.
The character is basically myself. It's dialed up. The name that's my actual name because I don't. CM Punk is my favorite wrestler, and he's famous for saying no gimmicks needed. So I was big on no gimmicks needed. The face paint, I was trained by a guy named Tarzan. He gave me my start, my first tag team partner, won my first championship with him. Like, shout out to Tarzan. But he trained me, and like, he had this match, and he was wearing face paint, and like, it's crazy. When I wrestle, people say that I remind them of Jeff Hardy because like the way I could have like the aura, and not have to speak to the crowd. But like, it wasn't Jeff Hardy that told me that. It was my friend Tarzan. Like, he had this match, there was like over 200 people, and like, he didn't speak to the crowd once, but the whole room was behind him. And like, they thanked him after the match. Like, he lost his championship, but it was that moment I was like, this is what I want to be in wrestling. I want to be able to take what he taught me and like improve it and go further.
Very interesting. So that's just kind of pulling up again. I look at this and I can't. I did say Black Boogeyman. Boogeyman is a black wrestler for people who don't know. I'm an idiot for saying, but when I look at your character, it does have like a darker, mysterious, maybe spooky character vibe. But you're saying that is that something you lean into, or is it a completely different look for your character?
Kind of, yes, not spooky. I never want to be typecasted into like. No disrespect to Aleister Black or the House of Black, but they're like way too dark or edgy. I never want to be like put into that box. I try to showcase like the ugly sides of wrestling. So when you think about wrestling, you think about these larger than life superstars, the bright colored outfits, the commercials, the glitz and glamour, but like there's ugliness that goes into like, and that's what I want to show. Like my favorite movie is the 2022 The Batman movie, and in that movie you don't see Bruce Wayne with the women, you don't see him with the fancy cars or the suits. Like, he's in the Batman costume the whole movie. You see like the scars on his body, him having to stay awake at night like constantly to like jot down in his journal or like solve these crimes. And that's what I want to bring to wrestling. I want to show like it's a beautiful thing, but there's ugly stuff that leads us to be in this.
Yeah,
and I want so people can. It's okay to be ugly. It's okay to feel however you feel. Just don't fall into it. Don't be a victim of your own like trauma or whatever. You can turn it into something beautiful. Trying to turn that vengeance into a symbol of hope, basically.
So what were the beginning stages of finding yourself and your character and just being in the world of professional wrestling?
It was very awkward because at first I didn't know how I wanted to present myself, but then like being black and having dreads, like people would always call me Kofi Kingston, so like that was like a thing I had to deal with in the beginning of my career. And my moniker is an egoist, and that's who I am like the person. Like I take pride in being myself. So like just having those comparisons was like really bothered me. And then there's this anime called Blue Lock. It's a soccer anime, but they go into the philosophy of ego. Like each lesson that they were teaching that anime really like helped me separate myself. And like just the way like the people are larger than life and they're like wacky characters in my schools. Like these people are here, they're in their gimmicks 24/7 to the point where we don't even know each other's real names half the time because we're always talking to the character. It was that and just like staying focused. Like I remember like I set out to be the best wrestler in the world and like no matter what, that's what I'm gonna get through.
Yeah, that's super cool. Now, have you ever had an opportunity to work any names or meet any names or pick their brain?
I haven't been able to work any name. I'm about to soon, but I can't spoil you that. That's in the near future. But I've been fortunate enough to share locker rooms with like plenty of people. Matt Riddle, Jack. I did a cameo on MLW recently with Alex Kane.
Oh,
That was
cool.
like, yeah, that was huge. And be able to talk to him and get advice from him and just like know that I'm heading in the right direction because like I've only been wrestling a year and a half and like everyone that I saw in that locker room that day only existed on a TV screen like 2 years ago and now like I was literally within like 2 feet of Eric Bischoff. Like he literally like stopped and stared at me and I'm like oh, I have to walk away from him to not mark out and it was like crazy like it's just crazy. I thought people like that only exist on TV.
Yeah, that is a cool moment. MLW is an upcoming company, so if people aren't aware of that, there's more wrestling than just Mondays and Fridays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
If you're not too only into the Mondays and Fridays and think the Wednesday's bad, I remember being a kid too. But yeah, there's a lot of wrestling out there to consume, not just the stuff on TV. But yeah, it is cool getting to rub elbows with people on that level and really getting to put yourself out there and pick their brain. I personally was just recently with Matt Riddle too, and had some really cool, insightful conversations about being at WrestleManias and then going back to starting at Evolve and stuff like that. So those journeys to me are just fascinating of hearing how they go about that. So you've been in it about a year and a half. Have you had any setbacks or adversities that you had to overcome in your career so far?
Not really. I don't know. Most of the setbacks are just like in my own head. Like being in this, like I feel like I have imposter syndrome. There's times where like shit, I shouldn't be here. Like I've been fortunate enough to be put in good position so far, and I've delivered, of course. But like just like knowing like I'm in a tough position, so I have to start with a lot of pressure on me. And I guess like so it's not really setbacks. It's just I get in my head a lot because like I know like I'm still new to this, and I still have a lot to learn, but I still have a lot to deliver on as well. And that's like the hardest part of trying to like enjoy the present, find that balance, and just like be okay with my current self while still face my future self.
Okay, so One Division, is that just a wrestling promotion, or is that a company that you can also go and train and learn and be a part of in that aspect as well?
One Division for today, I love them. They have a lot. Not only do they do the wrestling, they do media, they do magazines, they do different kinds of content, like whatever you can think of. They basically take care of everything.
Yeah, looking at their website, it is real. It's set up very, very nice. All the graphics look really good. Very high profile photos for each matchup. Very, very impressive. I did see the magazine there, so very, very cool to be on there. Looking like you're going to be on the
cover athlete this month. Yeah.
Yeah, cover of this month's magazine. That's super, super, super cool. Yeah, so going into your matchup here, what do you think? Hopefully your opponent's not listening, but what do you think you have some advantages besides? I know you talked about before the age is you said something that's going to be definitely play into your factor, but what else do you think you bring to the table, or maybe some weaknesses your opponent have that you can capitalize on?
Easily the number one thing, aura. Aura goes so far in this industry. Like,
okay.
There's no one. I have that advantage that makes my job a lot easier. There's times in matches where just the way I emote or just deliver something get to the point where I don't have to use a single word to get a whole room of people to get behind me. That's something. Agility, of course. He's old, he's slow, he's big, out of shape. As you can see, I'm in the gym right now. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going right back to training. I have that on him. And hunger. He's been in this game for quite some time. He's had enough opportunities to do something for himself and make a name for himself. I need this way more than he does. Like, it's not just him I'm competing with. It's every other sports artist on that roster and everybody on that show. Everybody wants to be the one that won the beat. I'm the zero. You have a 1, you add a 0, the 0 adds the value. It turns that 1 into a 10, it turns that 10 to 100, so on and so forth. And I got to show that I'm that in 1DP.
Awesome. So without looking past your opponent, what is your overall goal of what you want to accomplish in the world of professional wrestling or at One Division Pro?
Be the best. And I'm not delusional. I'm not sitting here already saying I'm the best. I have a lot of hurdles to go over, a lot of hills to climb, but being the best can open so many different outlets for me.
Yeah. So obviously after this pay-per-view coming up or this show coming up, when you win your championship, what are some other
I like the
moments
sound of that.
or accomplishments you have achieved in your career that stand out to you?
Back in August, I was on the same show as Moose from TNA,
Yeah.
and like
Good guy.
I was able to like tear the house down. Like so there was already a lot of eyes on that show, and I was able to deliver like a banger of a match, and like that was really huge for me. Meeting Savio Vega, I met him. It was crazy because I remember it was in an Elks Lodge. It was a couple of months ago, and I was fighting for 1GP actually. It was in a contract match, and we were the first match of the show, and I wasn't that confident about the match, but hours later, at the end of the night, I'm in the parking lot, and Savio Vega comes up to me. He's talking to me. He's like, "You're a star." And he's just like taking the time out of his day to like give me so much advice. And the fact that he remembered me from the first match to the end of the night, that was like something that I'll never like ever forget.
Yeah, you have a really good spot to be in that first match of either if it goes wrong, there's enough on the card that people aren't going to remember if you're the first guy and you have a bad night, or you could be one that steals the show and sets the tone for the rest of the night. So it's a weird position to be in on the card there. When you're booking, I've done some booking in my day. When you're booking a show, you're like, all right, do I want to start really hot? Or you look at your roster and be like, well, this guy's still new. This guy's still new. I want to give them an opportunity to showcase themselves, but I don't want to put them later in the night. You know what I mean? So you're like, all right, stick them in the front, and then we'll put something on the second show to kind of bring people up. And if they go over and over deliver, as a promoter, you win. So you went out and over delivered.
Yeah, that was crazy because I was in my head a lot.
Yeah. How do you what are some things that you get in your head? You said the imposter syndrome where you feel like you don't belong or stuff like that. How do you overcome once you're in those mind states?
I don't know. I just do it. Like I think about it. I'm like, I already spent the money for training, so just go to training. You already went to the gym, just train since you're actually in the gym. You already got booked, just do what you have to do. And that's just the mentality I tell myself. It's like, and I always tell myself, I know I get in my head a lot, but I also look at reality. If the reality is, if I was an imposter, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be in a position that I'm in. And that's like the one thing that I can take solace in. It's like I'm actually here doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I love, my favorite position in professional wrestling, and a lot of fans don't get to see it. I know WWE's kind of showing it a little bit, but it's not to the same extent because when there's not a camera there, it's a different vibe. It's one of those sections that I think shouldn't have a camera in it, but that's gorilla position or whatever any company calls it right before that curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're saying you'll have a conversation with a talent, they're like, yo, I don't know if I'm into it tonight. I don't know if I got it. I don't, you know what I mean? Or they're just maybe in their real life, they have things going on with their families or their friends or anything like that. And then they stand in front of that curtain and the music hits and they transform and everything that they had going on in their real life disappears. And you could physically feel that energy and see it in their emotion. And then they hit that curtain and they become who they are. And it's a magical spot in professional wrestling.
Oh my God. You know, it's crazy thing. One of my biggest rivals in professional wrestling is one of my best friends. So it's like, it's crazy that we'll be like right behind the curtain, like, yeah, I love you, bro. As soon as we step out, we're killing each other. You would think like we actually hate each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they come back to the curtain and they're like, yeah, you good? You good? All right.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a beautiful moment. I especially when there's that big feel match or that match where you know both competitors, and it might not even be a main event or anything. It's stuck in the middle of the card, but you know what these two people like. For me personally, getting to know talent and getting to know people and knowing what both of them mean going into this matchup, and then you get to like see them set it up, see them go out there, perform it, and then see them immediately, like, not even bother them, just be a fly on the wall and watch of how they react coming out back in the curtain afterwards. I live for that. Like, that to me is the best part of wrestling. I don't care what the fans think. I don't care about dirt sheets. I don't care about any of that. I love that emotion that the fans don't even get to experience.
Same.
Yeah, I don't take that lightly. I know a lot of people in my position and podcasters don't get that access backstage, and I'm very fortunate that I paid enough dues and I've earned enough respect that I can be in those moments and experience that. But that's a that's a high for me in wrestling that I'll never trade in for the world. Like with the fancy and then what happens backstage, the backstage is where it's at, and I love that. I love that so much.
I love it. After that, it just brings you closer once you go through because you're trusting each other with your lives, basically.
Yeah.
And you just understand. I don't know how to explain it. It's like an unwritten thing that we go through battle. We just understand each other a lot more without ever having to use a single word.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of pulling the curtain back a hair, like professional wrestling is more than what people think it is too. Like obviously you're watching a movie, you're watching an anime, you're watching entertainment at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that it's like a sport and it's the NFL and it's this and it's like if you guys are into fans and you're like my favorite wrestler is getting buried and they use these terms or they're getting squashed or they're losing matchups, they're not being utilized properly, I hate that. I'm like, they're part of the show. That's their job. They're entertainers, they're actors, they are characters within a play. Not every character is the main star, but each character is important to the role. And when I hear fans talk about it in that aspect, it just kind of like, all right, we're never gonna see it the same way. I'm glad you enjoy it in that aspect, but it's a beautiful art form. So when it comes to role models or influences, either in the business or personally, who are some people that stand out for you?
Before I get into the personal role models, as far as like influences, Oscar definitely plays a lot into my fighting style. Oscar, as I told you, my friend Tarzan, I wouldn't be where I am without him taking the time to teach me. Chris Angels, he's another professional wrestler. He's taught me a lot. He's believed in me, given me a lot of chances to show what I can do. His wife, Isabella Melendez, she runs the company that gave me my start. She owns the school, so it's like I wouldn't be what I am without any one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, my friends, of course, because again, I'm always around them and training with them. They're in character 24/7, so it's like I have to be in character 24/7. So like I
like that dynamic.
It's like an anime, like you said, you want to give that movie feeling, and that's how we treat it here.
Yeah,
and like as soon as like a new rookie would come in, I approach them immediately and I cut promos on them so they can understand like, whoa, this is an overwhelming industry. Like there's gonna be those people in your face. I'm gonna be honest. I've been doing this a little bit, and I've been to a lot of shows and a lot of promotions and a lot of schools, and I've never experienced a show where everybody and for people who are not professional wrestler are into professional wrestling, if it was movie terms, it would be method acting, where someone never breaks character the entire time. So like when Heath Ledger took on the role of the Joker, you did not meet Heath Ledger. When you met Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman, you met Andy Kaufman. You did not meet Jim Carrey. But to have that in a wrestling school, from curtain to curtain, door to door, bell to bell, every day,
that's interesting. I've never, and listen, the fact that you're willing to break character and give me a little of yourself on this podcast means a lot, even more so that you come from an environment where you don't even like, I don't like learning people's real names. I will try my best not to. If whatever you tell me your character gimmick is, I'm learning that forever. But that is an interesting dynamic. I would love to, when I get a car situated that's reliable, I'll definitely be making a drive up there and just kind of feel that vibe, because that's pretty wild. I like that.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like that's why I was able to grow so much in the year and a half I've been doing this.
Yeah,
because like it's like a story, because I'm thematically getting somewhere. My wrestling has no choice but to follow it, and like my character growth evolves because again we're always in character, so I can respond in any moment. So promos are a lot easier for me.
Yeah, that is why, because that's honestly, athleticism and learning the in-ring stuff is very, very hard, but that's where I would say 80% of wrestlers grab first, right? Like I can figure this wrestling thing out, I can get by, but man, it's a 50-50 battle when you meet wrestlers when it comes to who you truly are as a character. Because everybody, like we're in an age of wrestling where everybody just wants to be the tough guy, cool guy, right? And that's an easy character to play. Like I want to be Seth Rollins, I want to be Roman Reigns, I want to be Kevin Owens. Like I want to go out there, I want to be the biggest guy in the room. I don't really want to play a character. I don't have any gimmicks. I'm the tough guy. And that's what everybody wants to be. And not even people can find that role, right? Because it's not them sometimes, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that the fact that everyone's dialed into that aspect more than anything is an interesting vibe. I like it.
Because like we all want to like only one person could be the main character, but we all want to be the main character, so we're all competing like amongst each other. But what I love about it is that we're not stepping on each other's toes to get to that spot. We're just iron sharpens iron. We're just always like polishing each other to be better.
Yeah, that's super dope.
You can't even choose who's the number one guy here because there's so many talents to pick from, and that's what we want at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's a good card from top to bottom. Where some people listen. Growing up, I've never been a main event guy. I mean, on TV at least, the World Championship is fun, but I've been obsessed with the IC. I'm obsessed with the tag team. I'm obsessed with the United States. Like I love those mid card titles because I feel like that's where you have a lot more creative freedom as a wrestler because the main card is your main booker and your main promoter and everybody. That's what the focus is on, and that storyline is the one that brings the money, and you don't touch the money. But hey, Intercontinental guys, you're really good. Go have fun. Go build things. See what works. See what sticks. And that's where you see the creative process, and that is in that mid card, and that's what I've always been attached to. But what goals I know we talked about, coming up with your match, but just outside of that match, you as personally, you as a talent, you as a person, what are some goals you have set for yourself?
Honestly, be able to make a name for myself, of course. Be able to be good enough to keep up with the name. I don't want to be one of those people that relies on politicking or internet gimmicks to get myself over. I generally want to be good to the point where it's like what wrestling does. It does all the speaking for me, and then I just have all the intangibles as extra. So that's definitely a goal. Be able to. I've never taken a plane before, so I want to be able to get booked somewhere this year that forces me to take a plane.
If I had a recommendation, go to England. England is so much fun, especially the wrestling scene out there. Man, I would move there in a heartbeat. That wrestling scene and just that culture of England, unbelievable. I loved every second of it. You know how awesome it was to walk down the street and not have to worry about getting someone pulling a gun out? Like, you know how sick that feeling is?
Got knives over there.
Knives are a thing. That is a thing. I'd much rather get shot than stabbed. But it's not. I've been to some places, and I didn't at one time feel like I was in a rough spot. Like I had a situation where I thought, oh boy, this can go south. But as soon as I heard the American accent and you play crazy, they just, all right, crazy American, I'm gonna fuck off, and it was fine. But but for the most part, man, just such a cool vibe, and like going to see that English, that British strong style, and just it's sick. Get a plane and go over there.
That's what inspired me. Sheamus is my dream opponent. Like, oh man.
Well, Sheamus, yeah, but also New Jersey. He's a New Jersey trained guy. That guy trained at the Monster Factory.
I need to go up there. I've heard about it.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool place. I love learning different schools and how each school does everything, and each one's different. So I love deep diving into that. Actually, Riddle, Monster Factory guy, Sheamus, Preston Vance. There's a bunch of people who came. Like Monster Factory has a laundry list of people. That's where Jason Kelsey traded for the Super Bowl bit.
I saw Hyena Hex there recently.
What's that?
Hyena Hex had a show there in one of the recent years. I forgot which year it was.
Yeah, they do student shows too, and they do shows like they have their own promotion shows as well. They do a lot of fun stuff. So what is your favorite and least favorite type of fan? So some fans get a little out of control. Some are cool. Where do you draw the line? What are your favorite type of fans in the building, and who are your least favorite type?
My least favorite, I can answer that easily because I dealt with this recently. I hate people who take up the front row seats to not watch the show or not make noise. Like, why are you gonna take the front row to sit on your phone when you could have given that to someone behind you?
Yeah,
and it's like it just looks bad because like it just looks bad on camera when you're trying to do your show and then there's those fans there, they're just there, and it's like,
yeah.
My favorite, probably the drunk ones.
The drunk was your favorite? Yeah. If you have beer in your show, I'll be that drunk fan. I'm not. I'm not a very animated fan when I watch. Like if I go to a concert or music or wrestling, I kind of low key stay in the back. I vibe. I don't move. I don't dance. But I'm having a blast. It's just I don't really. But if you have a couple beers in me, I'll scream. I'll heckle. I'll have some fun.
But it's one thing if you're watching. I appreciate that. But if you're sitting in the front row on your phone, it's like, bro, you could have just not come. Just spend all that money to sit on your phone.
And I'm definitely
there's children at the show too who could take those seats.
Yeah, I don't go near fronts because I'm definitely someone who's in my phone quite often because I'm being messaged a lot for this content space, but or I'm trying to film little bits to put out for people to be seen. Um, what are some of your hobbies and interests outside of the world of professional wrestling? So when you're not training, you're not beating people up, you're not grinding and doing your thing. Where do you find yourself to unwind?
Uh, I ironically never stopped training. All my hobbies is sport wrestling. I watch a lot of character analysis videos to help myself out. I watch a lot of cinematography videos, and I study cinematography so I could be able to do better promos. I'm always looking at speeches and comedy shows to see how to work a crowd. And they literally, I'm just never taking a break from wrestling. If I'm at home, I'm doing something wrestling related.
I love that. I love it. So like movies, video games, you're not really into that stuff.
I'll watch movies, but video games not so much. I feel like I'm just wait. It depends on the game. If it
Yeah.
has like a really good lore, then I'll play it to see what the lore is, so I could be able to story tell better.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. All right. So you are into like pop culture media, but you're watching movies to learn how to dive into characters more and that aspect.
I wouldn't say pop culture. I kind of sleep on the rock. Like unless it's like wrestling related, I don't know like which trending really.
Okay. Do you have a preference of wrestling that you like now? Like, are you more of a AEW, WWE, MLW, GCW? What are you consuming?
I've been WWE my entire life. I've been getting into indie wrestling more now that I actually do indie wrestling, but WWE is still like the goal. That's been the goal since I was born. That's
Okay.
still the goal now.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Right, not I'd only really been to one pay-per-view. It was in London. I went over to AEW first Wembley show,
Oh,
so
that's
I've never
good.
really experienced anything besides that, which was amazing. But man, I've been to Wembley Stadium with 80,000 people screaming and carrying on in my dream venue. But man, I love an independent show. 100, 200 people. Like
Hmm.
I'm
It's
not
raw
one.
too. The
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah, one division, amazing. And I'm not saying these other companies to say that they're better than one division because I'm very thankful that they set this up. But man, I see videos of like House of Glory when they come out of that stage and it's just like the whole place is packed. I'm like, man, I want to go experience that show. I want to go see a show for GCW. I want to go check out here and there. Like
February 23rd reunion. You'll see that.
yeah, so reunion, man. I probably won't be able to make this one because car issues and still working out some financing thing. But I will definitely come and experience a one division pro show because it sounds the entertainment aspect and everything I'm looking at for one division. They look like they have a really cool dynamic and a really cool look and setup. And
Yeah, and they have a big team, so everything they take this like every detail has to like be on point.
yeah, so where can people watch one division or actually see the product itself?
You can go on YouTube and look up One Division Pro, or you can go on the website onedivisionpro.com.
There it is. Will it be? How does it usually work after a show airs? Is it the next day? Is it a month later? How can people watch it if they can't
That
physically be
depends
there?
because they have a digital team that does all the editing, so that all depends on them.
Yeah, I prefer. I'm gonna be honest. I like the fact that if companies do have that thing where it's hey, I wanna be there live, or if I can't be there live, you can live stream it. I much personally rather let the live thing be a live thing. Let the people who paid their show be there. Let the people who couldn't make it wait a couple day, a week or two, and then
Hmm.
let your production and your editing team put together your visual product that makes it so much different than the live experience. And because I think too many people
Exactly.
rush for that live stream, and the live stream doesn't always connect the same way a post production team can do a job.
Camera cuts are everything.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I've done a lot of post editing stuff in wrestling, and that's definitely the bread and butter. I love that stuff. Um, so if you can change one thing about the industry, what would it be?
Hmm, that's a good question. I never thought about that. I don't know. I guess I wish everyone could just have the same mentality. We all want to help each other get better. It's supposed to be 50-50, but it's ironically coming from a guy whose moniker is the egoist that the issue in wrestling is a lot of big egos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of that doesn't work for me, brothers, in this business. 100%.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I'm gonna drop actually on there right now. I'm gonna put it in the chat for everybody. But here is the One Division Pro. Did I just click something away? Yes, I did. One Division Pro's YouTube channel. We'll post it here right now so you guys can go and subscribe. They're currently sitting at 68 subscribers, so let's get some more people over there and help them out and give them some more things. The quality looks great, man. The backstage interview segments look good. Like I said, I think the promos look really, really good. So I'm super pumped to see the growth of One Division Pro. What are some words of encouragement? Yeah, what are some words of encouragement for a beginner?
You just know what you want to do, or even if you don't know what you want to do, don't let anyone make you what they want to do. Yeah. Like, ego is everything, and ego doesn't mean the world revolves around you. That's egotism. I'm an egoist. So egoist is just being better and just always striving to be better, and just self-awareness. So you want to be able to look at everything. Look at what the top guy at the card, what does he look like? How does he speak? How does he walk? When he walks through the curtain, how does he stand? And just be willing to break yourself down and adapt constantly.
Yeah, no, totally. I love that. Self-awareness is huge in the business. I think too many people think they're Hulk Hogan and they're not because somebody gassed them up a little too much. Being humble, bitch, be humble, sit down.
Exactly.
Yeah. But last one here, and we'll plug you and your social media and how people can come see the show, where it's going to be at. But what are you grateful for, and are you currently happy?
I'm grateful for everything, like even all the bad that happened so far, because it all got me here. Like I'm fighting for numerous championships this year alone. Like I started the year off like fighting for championships, and there's more coming for other promotions. So like I'm just glad I'm able to be healthy for one, be able to do the thing that I love to do the most, and be able to meet people like you and have these conversations, be able to like meet people, like form bonds, and be able to like share like these parts of our lives together. Thank you for meeting all the fans, of course, because like the show doesn't happen without them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm thankful for everything. I love every single aspect of my career so far. As far as happy, I'm not a happy person. I chase pride. I want to have a life that I'm proud of, because happiness comes with pride.
I love that. Love it. We'll keep I'm the same way. I'm never satisfied. I want more.
Exactly.
But it's not. I don't want to be given more. I want to earn it. And
exactly.
I
not earn. I got to take it.
Yeah, take
that.
Sometimes
you feel like you earn it and you won't get what you want, but that's what ego is. You got to know your worth and then double it.
Yeah, that's been my issue for a very long time. I've been the guy. I'm gonna come in and work really hard, and then I'm gonna earn it, and someone's gonna hey, this guy's been doing great. Let's give him his due. He's been working hard. That doesn't always happen. You got to get in that take mentality, and I think that's where I'm at now. I'm ready to take some shit.
Exactly.
Not many people are as good. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to this podcast, interviewing independent wrestler space, your boy's high up there, and and more people need to know about it. But
yeah, say it louder. They gotta know about it.
Yeah. So let's talk about this upcoming show once again. What day is it? Where can people find it? Where's the venue? Let's talk this upcoming show reunion.
Yeah. So it's called One Division Pros Reunion, February 23rd, 2025. If you want to get part of the show, you need an invite ticket. This is an exclusive event, so there's not that many fans going to be, but it's going to be a lot of like people from other like big wrestlers, higher ups in other promotions, a lot of media platforms. It's like a real business like industry event. So that's the part that makes me nervous. There's going to be so many big people in big positions with eyes on us.
I love that. So it's like an invite only type deal.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's super sick. We do have some matches. We have a 60-minute Ironman match with Steven Peterson, Hyena Hex. We have the I'm sorry if I say names incorrectly. I am awful. Idris Jackson versus Max Capacity. DANTE Farmito versus Brian Black. Casey Lycan versus Jared Diaz. So we have a lot of 2 championship matches, an Ironman match, and a lot more coming up. So this show looks super cool. Definitely go check it out. Follow them on all social media. We'll get everything going. And and you can find me this weekend. I know we're live. I don't do a lot of these live, but we have tons and tons of interviews that have already been pre-recorded. I decided to jump this one ahead and not do our normal Monday and do this on a Wednesday so we can promote DANTE and his upcoming match, One Division Pro reunion, and all this cool stuff that's happening. But if you are a member to this channel on the ABJ side of things, it's a $5 membership. There's tons of content. I have enough interviews from now till March. So a lot of cool stuff, a lot of 5 questions with ABJ, new content always dropping, reviewing people's matches is a new thing I'm doing. So go check out that recent piece of content. You can see me this weekend at PPW, and you can see me coming up in Philadelphia at 2 different shows, On the Ropes for High Tension Wrestling, as well as the Wrestle Cup 3 for Labor of Love. That's all happening next month in March for and places you can see me. So between Philly, hopefully New York soon. New York is on my bucket list for 2025.
Yeah.
I need to get a car that's reliable. I've never been to the city. Never.
What?
I've never been
we
to
gotta
New
show
York
you
City.
around.
Yeah, I've only been to upstate. I've never been to the city. Like I said, One Division Pros on my list, Battle Clubs on my list, House of Glories on my list. I want to experience professional wrestling in New York. The what's another show that I'm really pumped that I love what they've been doing recently, where it's all for the culture. It's like black owned, black media, black wrestling. Like I want to experience that because I think representation in professional wrestling is really important too. So I definitely want to go check out. I think the Jobber Tiers run that, right? That's all, guys.
I know there's a few because I know there's a company called Chain Stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
One DP is actually black owned and black represented too.
Love that. I think that's super important. We were actually talking about it the other day on the podcast. I said most shows I go to are like good old boy small coal towns in Pennsylvania where it's all white, a whole roster's white, everything is white on white on white. So it's a rice show. But then I got booked a lot in New Jersey, and it was like very Spanish, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican shows. The whole crowd is Spanish, and it was the most electric crowd I've ever worked for, and I had such a good time. Oh, it was the best.
It's even more diverse out in the city. You gotta come out here.
Yeah, I love that melting pot of everyone just coming together and just loving professional wrestling. I love that so much. But thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you and support you?
You can find me on Instagram, as you can see on the screen, DANTE_FARMITO. You can find me on Facebook, DANTE FARMITO. TikTok, DANTE_FARMITO. It's the same thing everywhere. So,
yeah, definitely
also,
follow him.
Shout out to this podcast. Like, subscribe, comment, share.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys go check out everything, the social medias, One Division Pro, all that stuff. They have so much good stuff going out. Like I'm telling you, their production value looks really, really impressive. I like what they're doing. I'm very, very happy that we got in contact via Instagram. Maybe you'll see some more One Division Pro talent coming on the show. So we'll definitely be putting them over. Dante, once again, thank you for your time. That's going to do it for us here at the ABJ Podcast. Here's some music by the Converse Kid, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Next pre-recorded episode will be next Monday. We'll see you then.